So either way, might as well just go ahead and get this recorded. Interesting news. So either way, I might as well just go ahead and get this started. Welcome everyone to the stream. So it's just going to be a football stream. Something I have enjoyed doing. Let's see, I will be showing off some more of a Tecmo Super Bowl 2 and 3 today. And I am going to go ahead and preview the conference championship games. So the first one's going to be on Tecmo 2. And I'm just showing off like what this game does. I do like the voiceovers in this game. And then they have decent stills of the players. I think this took place during the 93-94 season, or maybe it was 94-95. I forget. Okay, 93-94, I guess. Let me just up the volume here. So either way, the thing with this particular version of Tecmo Super Bowl 2 is that it was called Special Edition for a reason, and that was because only X amount of cartridges of this game were made. I did end up renting this game as a kid, but that's I never really had it. I did have Tecmo 3 though. I think that was the one I played the most. Oh, that and the NES Tecmo Super Bowl. Let's see. Let's just put this on normal. But the interesting thing about the season game is that you can go ahead and trade players. I don't think free agency was really a thing until the third game, but you can just go ahead and make trades and get whoever you want, basically. So I decided to be the Steelers, and let's see, also have a 13-1 record. Of course, speaking of which, how about the egg they laid yesterday? Yeah, we'll be talking a lot about the upcoming games and probably what other teams should do. But right now, I think we're just going to preview the NFC Championship. And these are 94 rosters, so it really shows what I know. But I think the Vikings are going to win, so I'm going to go with them. And then you get your option of whatever weather you want. But this is going to be a tricky one to pick because everybody's going to bet against the Eagles because Wentz is hurt. But they also still have a really good team even without him. Because that defense is still really good. They still have a good running game. But it'll be tricky to see because this isn't Minnesota's defense. That is probably the best in the league if you ask me. And on defense, you get to choose between 4 different formations. There's a goal line, normal, nickel, and dime. I usually play nickel in this game. And see, there is something you can do if you're in the dime. I'm just trying to see what plays are what here.
Blue 48, blue 48. Hut, 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 hut.
That's because I do like to play against the run more. And unfortunately with this game, if you pick the like the wrong play type, like if you pick a run and they're passing, or if you pick a pass and they're running, you are gonna get burned for a lot of yards. So that's just something to know. Yeah, see that one I even had him wrapped up, he just spun away. And this one is actually probably the hardest one out of all of them. Let's see here. So I'm in dime and I'm gonna try and adjust And then do this. See, I actually had that blitz right. It just, he just got rid of it before I could get him.
Round 52. Round 52. Hut, 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 hut.
See, once again, I just ran into him and then he, just decides to spin away.
First down.
But getting back to the particular games at hand, I do think that Philadelphia's offense is better than they get credit for. Mostly because of, well, it's not really because of Nick Foles, because I don't think they're going to win scoring 15 points. Just like they did last time. And then I also think they will have to rely on their running game a lot more. But for Minnesota to win, it's just going to have to come down to Case Keenum and then making plays. Because I think Minnesota's defense should be able to handle Philadelphia's offense. But I think Philadelphia's defense is also a lot better than they get credit for. So I'd probably go with a lower scoring game.
Blue 43. Blue 43.
Just gotta feel that both the defenses are just vastly superior in talent compared to the offense. But then again, with the way the games have gone, you never know. Especially with the way that Minnesota-New Orleans game went. And as you can see, they picked the play, so then I had no chance on that one. And unfortunately, this happens all the time when I'm on stream, where I end up losing the game I'm playing. Let's not give them a running start. Well, I'm not going to get a first down otherwise. Okay, well, at least he caught it. I do remember playing the season mode in this game, and it was definitely a lot harder. Like, people get hurt for longer, and then also, let's see, they just get occasional occasional just cheap stuff that goes their way.
Blue 48. Blue 48. Hut, hut.
And then also the way the games went, I think Philadelphia's defense did a good job containing Atlanta's offense. It's just a matter of them finishing drives. That's going to be the tough part for them. And then I think Minnesota has shown that they can finish drives. So you would think they're the favorites in this, but I mean, the tough part for this one is, I did talk about this a little bit earlier in the quarterback club streams. As to why I think a host team wouldn't make the Super Bowl is because there's too much money to lose. And also I think that might be the case if Minnesota ends up making it.
Red 24. Hut, hut, hut.
Alright, to drop in that coverage. Or maybe not.
Red 24.
But then all those people flying over from Philadelphia and then the people flying from Boston. So they'll definitely get a lot of people over. Or Jacksonville, one of those two. That one actually had it covered, he just caught it.
Blue 43. Blue 43. Hut, 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 hut.
And then also I didn't do the stream on Monday, mostly because I was just watching the national championship. I think, what was good about that game? There was a lot of high-level stuff that happened in that game. Okay, can I tackle this guy, please? Of course I can't. Yeah, usually that happens when you do cheap stuff like spin away from me. Yeah, you can tell how bad this is going already.
Round 52. Round 52. Hut, hut.
be ready for that. And what I'm doing is that,
Blue 48. Blue 48.
or what I'm doing is that I'm trying to, guess what play they're running based on the formation they're in. Okay, at least I made that one. At least I kind of held them on that one. Also, kicks get blocked a lot easier. Actually, I kind of got lucky on that drive. Let's see. Also, not a fan of this playbook.
Ready. Set. Hut. Hut.
So I had to go too tight end.
Interception.
And of course that happens. This, unfortunately, has not been a good game for me.
Blue 43. Hut. Hut.
So, let's see. I did pick the pass.
Pass incomplete.
So, note to self,
Blue
guard the run the
43.
rest of the
Blue
game.
43. Hut. 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 Hut.
At least until they just end up making the play. Let it play anyway. So, wait, I gotta reset this.
Red 32.
So, I picked the run, so let's see what.
Brown 52. Brown 52.
See, they were set to run, so I think let's adjust to the pass.
Red 24. Hut. Hut. Hut.
Oh, good thing I cut that one off.
Blue 43.
And a T, so I think I'm gonna drop into coverage. Also, in this particular game, the Eagles are a lot better than the Vikings. So that's just something else we got going against us. Well, at least I've kept on a relatively low score. Because outside of that one drive, I actually haven't been doing that bad. Of course, I can't do anything offensively against this team. So we'll see how that goes.
Brown 52. Brown.
So I don't think I need to go that nuts with passing.
Hut. 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 Red 24. Red.
Okay, that's better.
First down.
And I think body balance might have been the stat that allowed you to break tackles.
Blue 43. Hut. 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 Hut.
Oh, that's better.
Blue 43. Blue 43. Hut. Hut.
So let's see if this works. Alright, well, a little bit closer. I think we can go ahead and shave some clock here just to make sure we don't give them the ball back with too much time.
Brown 52. Brown 52. Hut. Hut. Touchdown.
But I do like that dive play. Also, fun fact, in the first Tecmo Super Bowl for SNES, you can try the dive play, but if you get stuffed, then chances are your running back's gonna get hurt. So I know that me and my brother had played that all the time, and then we just had really, really bad luck with running backs getting hurt. And then this one I didn't really play as much. And like I said before, it was actually the third one I played the most.
43.
guarding the run to the right until somebody tells me otherwise. Oh, wait. Oh, and also in the first NES game, there was also the nose tackle dive that you can do and then guaranteed that you would get to the quarterback.
Blue 43.
I think they might actually guard against it this time.
Set. Pass incomplete.
Trying to make this happen.
Blue 43.
Guarding that play until somebody tells me otherwise. Okay, why is that not working? And just like that, we're tied. I also do love the theme that plays when you get a safety. Outside of that, the music in this game is okay. It's just nothing that special. Okay, I think I can still make something happen.
Blue 43.
Unless, of course, they're in the
Red 32.
nickel. Yeah, of course, they guard against that.
Blue 43.
I used to add some of that working for me this time.
Brown 52.
Unfortunately, the clock has stopped between plays. Fucking seriously. Ball's right there in your hand and you drop it. Now let's see if we can take the lead here. Probably not, but might as well. Nope. Either way, somewhat even game. Well, actually, aside from the fact that they were kicking my ass in the first quarter. But that's what we have to work with, folks. And you know what else we have to work with? A cheap turnover.
Blue 43.
And by the way, that is the former Raiders coach, Jack Del Rio, I'm playing as.
Blue 48. Blue 48.
That's another fun fact.
Blue 43. Blue 43.
And then go figure, he spins like 3 times and ends up getting free.
Set. Ready.
Although one other dirty thing you can do in this game is use the offensive lineman, or use the defensive lineman to end up hitting the other offensive lineman and then knocking them down. This was before chop blocking became a thing, or became an illegal penalty. And for what I'm saying about chop blocking, that's you can't really hit another offensive lineman whenever they're blocking with somebody else. So what I'm doing now is completely illegal. At least nowadays it is. Also led to a lot of knee injuries. Let's see here.
Blue 43. Blue
Trying to establish the run here, but not really working today. Although it will be interesting to see who can run the ball better Sunday. Because I think the Eagles do have the better running backs, but I think the Vikings are the better scheme.
Brown 52. Brown 52. Hut, hut. First down. Blue 48.
And see, I
Blue, 48.
think
Hut, hut, hut.
also the game's in Philadelphia, so I don't really know how good Minnesota is in that kind of weather. Except they're not really a dome team anymore. Like they still play or their stadium does have a retractable roof, but sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't.
Red 32. Hut, hut.
Though I think during the New England-Jacksonville game, I'll probably talk more about the offseason.
Red 32.
This might not be a good idea.
Hut, 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 hut. Blue,
It does take a while for this
blue,
thing to work.
43.
And then also on that Jacksonville-Pittsburgh game, just reminded me a lot of like the rubber band AI that Madden did, or that Madden does. Basically, every time you're starting to put some distance between you and your opponent, the opponent just starts getting all these cheap plays and end up scoring a lot. So that it always keeps the game close. And I feel like that's what the Steelers did yesterday. Also, that's what they get for underestimating the Jaguars. And then I did correctly pick the Jaguars to win that game too. And the main reason for that was because their defense hasn't been that good since, well, the Steelers' defense, I mean, hasn't been that good since Shazier got hurt. And also, as far as that goes, kids, that's why you don't lead with your head, especially with your neck parallel to the ground when you're tackling. Just some important insight from somebody who knows his spinal cord injuries. And for the first time today, I took the lead. So let's see, what else was I gonna talk about? I did watch some of that Eagles-Atlanta game. I think that was one that Atlanta probably should have won. They just couldn't execute when it came down to it.
Blue 48. Blue.
Just take that one away. And then also the end of that New Orleans-Minnesota game was probably pretty unexpected. Of course, if you ask me, that Saints player missed that tackle on purpose, but I'm not going to get into that here. There's actually plenty of other sites that break that down.
Hut, hut, hut.
And there was also that Instagram meme that said, when you hit the hit stick too soon on Madden,
Red 24.
and then it shows that play.
Hut, 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 hut.
Although in the first half, Minnesota's defense did dominate. I don't really know what adjustments the Saints made. So, like I said before, I wouldn't be surprised if this turned into a defensive struggle. But at the end of the day, it just all comes down to turnovers. So at least we got them in a pretty decent position.
Blue 48. Blue 48. Hut, hut, hut.
I mean, I don't have this one yet, but we'll just have to keep working.
First down.
There's a double coverage, end up catching it anyway. There are some players that can do that, like Michael
Blue
Irvin.
48.
But I don't think
Hut, hut.
any of those, well, those top receivers can, but some of them also are good. Also do like these sack animations that play whenever you end up getting a sack.
Blue 43. Blue 43.
And that is one thing I definitely like about this. Or that's one thing that this game does well. Is the aesthetics, the way they're improved compared to the first Tecmo game.
First down. Blue 43. Blue 43. Cut, 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 cut. First down.
They are throwing the ball a lot more. Or do I want to stubbornly stop the run?
Blue 48. Blue 48.
And now watch them burn me for a touchdown. Yep, there it is.
First down. Ready. Set.
But that is an important thing with just playing this particular game. It's just keeping the opponents off balance. Still better clock management than Mike Tomlin.
Blue 43. Blue 43. Cut, 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 cut.
Of course, somebody should make a joke of that. But then again, Mike Tomlin's clock management's always been, oh, what the hell, triple coverage, and caught it. But either way, like I said, that Mike Tomlin's clock management is more than horrendous. Okay, we gotta do this now.
Round 52. Round 52. Cut, 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 cut. No good.
Well, luckily for me, he threw to the wrong guy. Definitely bit on that fake. You don't get a chance to recover my fumble.
Red 32. Cut, cut.
And then whenever you hear that chime, that means they used a timeout.
Cut.
Reset that.
Cut.
At least we actually made them use their timeouts, unlike the... Now, why are you stopping? Keep going. Okay, well, I got some BS to go my way.
Cut.
So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run until, we either end up doing that or milking the clock.
Cut.
Okay, goodbye.
Cut.
I think that might have taken a little bit too long.
Touchdown.
Okay, well, at least I got a good close that sucker out drive. But that's what the 4-minute offense is. Or at least that's what I call it, just close that sucker out. And that's where you had to just hold the ball for a while and then make sure the team doesn't get the ball back. So I'll just go ahead and make this happen for a little bit more. I don't think there are any notable injuries for the NFC Championship.
Round 52. Cut. Cut.
So it should be interesting if the Eagles can actually win that one. Because I think everybody and their mother bet on the Falcons in that game. So they definitely did not give the Eagles defense enough credit.
Cut. 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 Round 52. Round 52.
I might have picked the wrong one.
Red
Oh, fortunately for us, that's a ball game. Fortunately, got my bearings after halftime kind of pulled away. Either way, this is actually a really tough game. And then they show you all the stats. No, I might as well just show off a few things about a team leader. You also get your chance to see other things, like stats. And then they also do have records here, in which you can just see what you do well. And then this was from '94, so the records are definitely different. And then, let's see, what else were I looking for? Oh yes, team rankings. And then this is just strictly by yards. And then the standings, you can see how many points you allow. I don't think the points scored is in the records. 3,035. I think I might actually be on pace to break that one. Yeah, so I think with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Tecmo 3 now. I'll see you in a bit. Oh crap, wrong one. That's better. So anyway, the only reason I'm showing off Tecmo 3 now is because the Jaguars didn't exist in Tecmo 2. So I gotta use Tecmo 3 to show off the Patriots Jaguars. I also really do like this opening intro. And they just show you what season you're in, or what part of the season you're in. No, they definitely put out the specs of just about like every stadium, every helmet. That's like pretty awesome. And then one thing that actually makes this game a lot of fun is that you can build your own players. There's all the stadiums and then their capacities. And this was Final Edition because this was actually the last one that they made. I might as well just show off a Superstar Editor right now. Yeah, so I named all my guys after Mega Man X characters. Or it's X4, X5, and X6 that I made all these guys after. And what I do like about it is that you can build your own team however you want it. And then you can also build your players however you want them. So then if you want a running quarterback, you can just give him all kinds of good stats. And then also that defensive line can definitely be OP because I did try beating this team and then Sigma kept kicking my ass. Then again, I don't want to think about how much Sigma's gonna kick my ass in hard type, but we'll cross that road when we get there. Who else? I think, yeah, was Double my other good player? Or was that Geet? Heatnix is a decent player. And I think Spider was also really good. I think it might have been, yeah, Dino Rex was still a solid player. So I'll just show off one just for the heck of it. You get to edit a lot of things about them, and then you can just put your stats however they want, or however you want. Yeah, so I just wanted to show that off. Also, let's see where we are. So they actually did make the playoffs. Yeah, now I remember what I was trying to do. I was trying to beat that team with San Francisco. Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And then you have the records just like before. But they got all messed up once you simulate as many seasons that I did just to make sure these guys are up to snuff. Oh, with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. And the map is the same. So we are going to be the Patriots and our opponents are going to be the Jets, or the Jags. Also, the fun thing about this is you get to choose what, or you get to make whatever team you want. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Let's just keep it that way. Yeah, what? Let's make it snowy. It is Foxborough after all. So this is actually going to be a pretty interesting one, mostly because, well, the Patriots ended up beating the Titans pretty handily, even though they were down 7-0. But then again, the Titans really aren't that good a team. And they only got there just because they, Kansas City gave that game away. And then defensively, you get all the same stuff, so don't really have to explain that much.
Set. Ready.
And then, let's see, what else did I was trying to cut that guy off. And then also with that New England game, the running game for the Titans didn't really work out all that well. So fortunately, they were able to scheme for that.
Blue 48. Blue 48. What?
And of course, because it's snowing, you get to slip. So remind myself to run the ball a lot.
Blue 48. What?
But also the interesting, well then again, I'll probably just talk a lot more about that, or that Jaguars-Steelers game, and why that went down the way it did. And I think one thing that was, I know that Urinating Tree actually did a really good video on it of the Steelers underestimating their opponents. Oh hey, 007 Magnum, good to see you again. And also with underestimating their opponents, they did lose to the Bears when Mike Glennon was their quarterback.
Blue 43. Blue 43. What?
But then what would be interesting to see is if Fournette's healthy, because the Patriots did have trouble against the run. But I'm guessing what they are going to do is just sell out on Fournette completely and then dare somebody else to beat them. And that somebody else is going to have to be Blake Bortles.
First down.
This guy's only had 2 catches and he burned me twice.
Blue 48. Blue 48. What?
But the other interesting thing is that Jaguars defense can hang with anybody. Because I would think, because if I had to pick the 3 best defenses right now, it would be the Vikings, the Jaguars, and then the Eagles. Or maybe the Rams might have had a case too.
Set. Ready.
But also it does come down to how the Jaguars handle that high pressure situation. And then I don't really know how the Patriots are taking it up here. But you're not in a position where you can look past anybody. And that's something the Steelers should have known, but they didn't. Also, this was from the 94-95 season. So I think, let's see, the 49ers might have been the best team. It will be interesting to see if the Patriots offense can get much going against them, because the Jaguars do have that kind of defense that will give them problems. Because it really comes down to whether or not their passing game can get them open. Because the Jaguars do have the speedy linebackers that can stay with any of their running backs. And they're also big enough to stay with Gronk too. Also, I am going to be throwing a gash a lot.
Round 52.
So I can definitely see both games being more of a defensive struggle than anything else. Except that Bortles actually did make the plays he was supposed to against the Steelers.
Round 52.
That crap just ran into him.
Quarterback sack.
Yeah, I think the 2-point conversion was in this one, and it's also in the second one. But, let's see, it's actually a little bit more obvious in this one. And nobody fell for it. Although, speaking of which, who was it? Was it the Steelers that fell for that flea flicker? Or it might have been the Chiefs. I forget. So this is not a good start for me. Of course, I did get off to a bad start in that NFC game, though.
Ready. Set.
So let's see what they're gonna do. Yeah, this is not gonna be. So I think defensively I might be able to handle them. It's just getting anything going on offense. Might as well just guard against that. So anyway, how things been with you today, Magnum? Hopefully going well. Let's just try and get a return. So it wasn't really that bad a return, but I think I could have done better. I was actually pretty decent at returning kicks in this game. That was probably one of my better moments in this game, though. Was me and my brother would play this a lot, and then we just try and beat good teams with a lot of bad teams. So then we were playing Dallas in the NFC Championship with the Buccaneers, and that is my best moment in this game. Was I ended up getting 3 straight punt returns for touchdowns, and then we ended up winning by like 2. Because I would try and play offense, and then he would try and play defense. So then, let's see what else could.
First down.
Okay, at least I got something out of that. So this playbook is pretty decent. Definitely better than that Vikings playbook I had. Although ever since the first game, you actually can
Pass incomplete.
that you can go in here and then adjust the plays however you want. So that is something that's pretty enjoyable about this game.
Ready.
Is that in this game you can adjust the plays on the fly, but in the other games you had to just go into team data and then do it there.
Round 52. Round 52.
Let's see if I can get anything going on this play. Trying to. Yeah, that's what I get for throwing across the field. Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that one. Because at some point I am going to have to put together a death montage on my Final Fantasy 3 streams. Especially because I know AVGN did make that one video as to what goes into like an AVGN episode. Because it was, of course, playing the game and then taking notes on what you liked, what you didn't like. And then the last part was just getting all the footage. Especially when you want to show one particular thing off. So I think, what was the, guys, who are my favorite reviewers, I think? Well, some call me Johnny's definitely one of them. As I had them bottled up until then.
Blue 48.
I almost had him. And the reason for that was because I picked that shotgun pass. And then when he adjusted the play, I tried to sell out against a run. Didn't work out though.
Round 52.
Although the other interesting thing about that Jaguars-Steelers game is that Calais Campbell did end up getting the score right. And Jalen Ramsey's going on about how the Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl. Although it will be interesting if Bortles ends up becoming one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl, but yeah, we'll see. And now watch them run and get the first down. I think that was my timeout, wasn't it? No, I guess not. Why would they call timeout? I don't know, I guess it's just the AI here. Let's see if I can't get something going. Although the good news is the clock doesn't run when you're on the field. So we don't have to worry about that. I think I get a clock stop after 1 minute. And for better or worse, I do have to pass.
Touchdown.
So fortunately, that went my way. I think out of the touchdown celebrations, this one actually was my favorite one. And that one always plays whenever you end up getting a touchdown to take the lead. This might not be good. Although I still haven't checked and saw what the odds are yet, or for these games. Because I'm pretty sure everybody bet on like the Saints and the Steelers and the Falcons. And the Patriots.
Blue 43, blue 43. Quarterback sack.
Oh, okay, you mean like what team I was playing as?
Blue 43, blue 43.
Okay, well even if he does get the first down, it shouldn't be that big a deal. So let's see, I think I get the ball back. Okay, good. And this was before the defer was allowed to. Alright, well, set myself up with good field position.
Red 42.
I always do like the outside pitches.
Touchdown.
At least that'll put some distance between us. Although, what other football games did I have? I think I also had Madden 2001, and then... yeah, that one, I think that was the first one to have franchise mode, where you can just build a franchise however you wanted. Though the bad news about that game is that you got fired too easily. It's only the third quarter, still got a long way to go in this game.
Ready. Set. Red 42, red 42.
Which way is this?
Blue 48, blue 48.
I think now we start selling out against the run.
First down. Red 24.
Of course, he ends up getting me out of position.
First down.
I think that's what both offenses are going to have to do. Because I think I would probably have to say that the Jaguars offense
Blue 48.
might have a better shot if they just do it that way. It just comes down to whether or not the Patriot linebackers execute.
Blue 48.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you about that. Especially the, what was another one? Like the NBA 2K ones and then the Madden ones. Yeah, I mean, them releasing a different game every year could be that way. Like, I could understand it if they did that for, like, new consoles. Like, from PS2 to PS3. and then just update it every year. Like, I could understand them doing that. Or what they... Well, then again, if they had, like, expansion packs or something, that'd probably get too big. Like, if they released it every 2 or 3 years, I think that would make more sense. But then, from what I heard, people hated Madden 17. But then Madden 18 is actually better. Let's see, 10:08.
Round 52, round 52. What?
So now I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this on the ground, then see if I can run out some clock that way. Unfortunately, it is still a third quarter.
Round 52. What?
And then if you get 100 yards rushing, or I think it was 150 yards receiving and then 300 yards passing, you get that little notification. Also, fun fact, that notification from the Super Nintendo Tecmo Super Bowl is my follow theme. Or that's what plays whenever I get a follow. And then eventually I might promote that to sub, if my channel gets big enough. Let's see, what else am I gonna guard against?
Blue 43. What?
And then also, since I am a Bears fan, might as well talk about that some. And we did end up getting Kansas City's offensive coordinator as our head coach. So that should be a good hire, I think. Because you get an up-and-coming guy, and then you get a guy that's going to have new ideas. And I think that was the biggest problem with us last year, was that, well, we had a coach who's, the game passed him by. And then I don't really think Loggins is that bad of an offensive coordinator. He's just not that good in one either. So I am looking forward to seeing the way this staff stacks up, because there is talent there. They just have to find a way to harness it.
Blue 48. Blue 48. What?
And then, of course, all that depends on how Trubisky develops. Because personally, I thought he got thrown into a bad situation last year, being forced to start when he wasn't really ready. Because there were a lot of rookie mistakes that showed up. And then once he can, or he gets better at handling snaps from under center, that's another important thing. But what I do like about this particular staff is you have a lot of younger guys with a lot of new ideas. So you got Oregon's former head coach as the offensive coordinator. And then their former offensive line coach. So they brought him back from Notre Dame. Which is a good thing, since Notre Dame actually had a good offensive line this year. And they've had first-round picks too. Okay, well, I'll take that. Alright, their program has produced first-round picks over the past few years. That was kind of overdue. Let's see, as far as the off-season, Yeah, because usually when you hire a new coach, it's usually the direct opposite of the coach that ends up getting fired. So in this case, you got a younger, hungrier guy, as opposed to a retread. It's one of those, sometimes you feel like you're going the right way. Unless, of course, it was 1999 where they ended up botching a hire and then had to hire one of their backup players instead, or backup coaches instead. I don't really think it was that, or I don't really think Duran was that bad of a coach. I just thought it was just the way it happened that had a lot of egg on their face. So let's just try and finish this game off. It's really all I'm after now. Okay, I ended up getting something. So now we're just forcing them to use their timeouts, and then try and get it done that way. Let's see if this works. Ah, crap, they picked it. And 2-minute warning. This is probably a really stupid idea. Well, at least we can just waste more time. Although, speaking of wasting time, how about Mike Tomlin's horrendous clock management at the end of the game? I think that's... I think I missed this one. But I think that's something that all coaches need to look at and say what not to do. Because I think learning what not to do is also just as important as learning what to do. But one thing that does concern me is that Nagy did learn from Andy Reid. And also Andy Reid's also a horrendous clock manager when the game's on the line. Good point to that Super Bowl against the Patriots as one example. Even though my picks for these games are going to be the Vikings and the Patriots. So that should be interesting. At least to see if it happens. Okay, well, I'm just trying to guard the pass. Why did I end up getting flattened on that one? At least they do let the defense catch up to the player. Yeah, thanks for that. It was almost all on that one play. I don't think they're going to get this off in time. Or maybe they will. Just get this done and then... Of course, that's what the Saints were probably thinking yesterday too. So either way, that was a Tecmo Super Bowl 3. Actually a pretty fun game. Actually, all the Tecmo Super Bowl games are pretty fun. Just a matter of finding your personal favorite. Although next week for Sports Monday, I might just do a... If there's like a 2017-2018 hack of Tecmo Super Bowl, I'll probably end up playing that. And then... Let's see, I think... I've got stuff to do on Wednesday, so I might end up... Or actually, no, I think that got moved to Thursday. So I think Tuesday... I don't know, I might do some casual stuff, and then... Yeah, Wednesday night I do have something to do, but maybe later then. I might bring, or I'll probably bring back challenge mode, which is a Fester's Quest, and I still have to get my art going on that one. Because I know I'm up to the part where it's just a bunch of bosses from there on out and then the spaceship. So I've got a lot of work to do to finish that game. And then fortunately Chrono Trigger's been going pretty well, so we'll continue with that on Thursday. And then Saturday, well, of course there's a UFC 220 preview, and then probably end up doing more Mega Man X hard type. I think I'll have to remember to do UFC 220 preview before Mega Man X, just so I don't end up in a ragey mood. But either way, that's going to be it for this edition of Sports Monday, so thank you guys for watching, commenting, and I will see you guys soon.